The courtroom bombing incident. A terrible attack launched by the will of a madman. That incident perfectly symbolized the state of the legal world in this dark age of the law. Mr. Wright brought it to a resolution of sorts. Ted Tonate was discovered to be the one responsible for the bombing. If only it were that simple. Somehow, I can't help but think that there's a darker influence at work, and one that's lurking in the shadows, waiting. That's why I want to review the trial that was taking place when the bombing occurred. After all, I got more than a few personal stakes in it. Episode 4, The Cosmic Turnabout.
Until launch. Please begin your final equipment check.
Check complete. Everything's A-okay. We're ready here whenever you are.
Come in at 2. Come in. Do you copy?
Oh no, there is an imposter! December 16th, 9:12 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby number 5. Time for another trial to begin. But this one's different. Sorry to bother you, but... Oh, hey. Oh yeah, Junie, you were here, weren't you? Okay, good. Are you alright, Apollo? Wasn't making a scary face just now. Oh, hi, Juniper. Yes, I'm fine. I was doing my quarter seal exercises. Now we're ready to go. Yes, knowing you, I'm sure you'll be just fine. Oh, I brought you a present from my garden. Is this a lotus root? That's right. My grandma says lotus root is good for your eyes. She even says if you look through the holes, it can help you see into the future. It's for good luck. Maybe later you can cook it and... Thanks for this. I'm gonna have some right now. Oh my. Kinda tough though. You can't eat it raw, but... Thank you for the enthusiastic try. Oops, didn't think the weird before, she will now. I gotta calm down. Apollo, I'm sorry I'm late. Hi, Athena. Junie, I didn't know you were coming today. You come to cheer Apollo on? Oh, I get it. You sly little thing, you. Athena, stop. Quit kidding around, Athena. The trial is about to start any second. Is everything set? Oh, Apollo, Apollo. When would we ever figure it out? Figure out what? Wow, that was the biggest, longest I've ever heard. Oh. This is it. It's all over for me. They're gonna find me guilty. This is our client, one Mr. Solomon Sol Starbuck. It's a very famous astronaut who happens to be an acquaintance of mine. Wouldn't know it right now, but he's usually a very upbeat and driven person. The scene of the crime this time had to be the Cosmos Space Center. Back in high school, my best friend and I went there almost a little too much. That's where I met Mr. Starbuck. We asked about space travel and we launched into story after story with so much passion. Back in those days, the man was 100% my hero. Are you sure you're okay with being my lawyer, Apollo? Of course I'm sure. I know you, Mr. Starbuck. I know you're not the type to commit murder. Thanks, but... I was supposed to be in space right about now. He's so depressed it almost seems like an act. Once getting called out must have been a huge shock. I'll probably never get the chance to go into space again. Don't say that. Don't stop believing. Besides, he's to go to space again. Yeah, I don't think I could face Clay in the afterlife if I just rot away in a cell. Clay Tron. I can't believe he was murdered. I mean, you're such a promising astronaut under your command. Yeah, he was a good guy. Always there to pick me up when I was down. No one loved life much as him, that's for sure. He's always so full of energy, telling me, "You're fine, Mr. Starbuck." How could something like this happen to a guy like him, huh? Never seen Mr. Starbuck so down. Clay is gone, and I'm going to prison. Wish I could burn up like a shooting star right now. Mr. Starbuck, you'll be fine. What is it? What's with the yelling? I'll get to the bottom of this today, you'll see. In exchange, I want you to go back into space for you and Clay. Promise? Does that mean you have lots of evidence to prove my innocence? Oh, well, about that. We didn't get to investigate the area as much as I liked, thanks to the police. I'm done for. I'm a goner. Everybody thinks I did it. Thought I was gonna soar like a comet, but I'm just gonna crash like a meteorite. No, don't say that, Mr. Starbuck. Don't get yourself out yet. I'm not trying to lose a teammate, but you gotta keep going. What about you, Apollo? What about me? Just thinking, wasn't Clay your best friend? We need to focus on the trial right now. Are you all ready to go? Apollo... Trial's about to begin. The defense would please proceed into the courtroom. Okay, here we go. This is it. One trial I can't afford to lose. I feel like we all say that all the time, but whatever. For Clay's sake and our clients, I will find Clay's killer. December 16th, 9:55 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 4. Day 1, court is now in session. Court is now in session for trial of Solomon Starbuck. Oh. You already have an eye patch, huh? Okay, interesting. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Excuse me, Mr. Justice. Yes, Your Honor. What happened to your eye? I'm fine. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Are you sure? I don't... We're fine. I'm fine, Your Honor. Defense is ready. I'm sorry, Your Honor. It's been like this since yesterday. Keep insisting it's just a sty. I suppose something he doesn't want to discuss. Maybe it's really a touchy age. Very well. And the prosecution... He's here, so he's ready. That's about it. Prosecutor appears to be ready as well.
Silence!
Oh, are you not? Are you gonna break out of those immediately? Not yet. I'm not quite ready yet. Oh, there you go. Prosecution is now ready. Well, it didn't take him long this time. What's up with Blackwell? Nothing. Shall I give the opening statement?
Silence.
Oh, do you want to do it? I'll do it. You will! What an unexpected surprise. This time I can't leave it to anyone else. I see. Something is off with the two of you today. Yeah, a little bit. You all seem different somehow. Very well, Prosecutor Blackwell. Your opening statement, if you would. It was just yesterday. The crimes in question occurred at this Cosmos Space Center. That famous federal research facility of all things related to astrology, right? Astronomy. It's astronomy. Anyway, a rocket was set to launch from there. But at 9:28 a.m., before they could even move the rocket to the launch site, it blew up. Two explosive devices were detonated and the launch was cancelled. My word, 2 bombs? How dreadful. The defendant in the day's trial was charged with both the bombing and the murder. One, Mr. Solomon Starbuck. For whatever inane reason, he detonated a bomb in a rocket he himself would be in. Solomon Starbuck? I recognize that name. Isn't he a famous astronaut? Correct your baldness. Mr. Starbuck was the pilot of the Hat 1 rocket 7 years ago. As you may recall, despite some other trouble, his mission was a success. Some say it was a miracle he returned alive. Suppose you could say he's a living legend. Oh, I remember now. He's become something of an international celebrity, right? He even turned that incident into a movie and everything. We got a real space pioneer in court today. But even heroes tumble from their lofty heights. Turning to the subject at hand. Ah, yes. The victim was one Mr. Clay Turan, a subordinate of the defendant. Indeed. A loyal disciple brutally stabbed to death by his mentor. Stabbed to death, you say? You mean his death wasn't a result of the bombing? Correct. Despite his lofty dreams, the victim was seen as interloper by the defendant. So he was not sent into space, but to the universe which we mortals cannot see. Clay. I think I've heard enough. The case seems pretty clear-cut at this point. However, there's one thing I'm curious about. That metal box next to the witness stand. What purpose does it serve exactly? It's here so nicely. It's your coffin. Have mercy on me! It's evidence. Your intimate size reveal choice to lay to rest now. We'll get to the contents of the box in due time. Phew. I feel like I just lost 50 years off my life. Does it even have 50 years left? Inner monologue, Athena. Inner monologue. Enough jabbering. Oh. Alright. Polly Fulbright's the name, and justice we trust. Inspector Fulbright. Very well then, please explain the details of this incident to the court, if you would. On it! First, take a look at this pamphlet from the Cosmos Space Center. In it, you'll find a diagram outlining the overall layout of the Space Center. Here we are. For a more detailed look at what's on the left side of the building, take a look at the cross-section that the place have created. See the launch pad in the main building. The launch pad is a square building, and the rounded structure is the main building, right? You got it. Incident took place in the launch pad 1 and the main building's lounge. Using this diagram during my testimony, I'll make it easier to understand. Alright. Piece of the case. Before you go on, did we, get not? No, we got no evidence. We got... okay. Cool. Zero evidence we had. Alright, good. Anyway. This is for the house. The rock. This is for the rocket was set to launch. 2 bombs went off. Boom! Boom! One on the second floor of the Space Center's main building. One in launch pad 1. Thankfully, only the 2 astronauts were in launch pad 1 at the time. 2 of them managed to make it back as far as the boarding lounge. But after the escape, one of the 2 was stabbed to death. A murder on top of a bombing. Detective, the victim was already dead by the time you arrived at the lounge, correct? Yep, thinking to sabotage the bombing, the lieutenant attacked and killed the victim. Just look at this tragic photo. Oh my, is that a knife for the victim's chest? Yes, Your Honor, it's a knife that cruelly ended this young man's dreams. We couldn't get any prints off of it, though, because the defendant was in his spacesuit. By the way, Detective Fulbright, why are the victim's helmet and right glove absent in this photograph? We don't remember to identify him, Your Honor. I personally removed his glove during the investigation. We get his fingerprints to confirm his identity, after all. Yes, it would be very difficult to identify him without a face or fingerprints. There's just one more thing I'd like to inquire about. What is this round thing next to the victim in this photo? Something so important to the victim, he took it with him as he escaped to the launch pad. A capsule that apparently contains asteroid samples. While obviously valuable for research purposes, there's no relation to this case. I see. So we know that the bomb in the main building was on the 2nd floor. Where is the bomb that was in launch pad 1 located? That one's on the rocket itself. Situated around the central part of the rocket. Around the area around the launch pad's elevator is a sea of flames. I'd like to submit this diagram and report it to the record. Okay, good. Trial just started and we're already in a bind. You get used to it. Besides, that's what cross-examination is for, right? What the 2 astronauts were doing during the bombing, that'll be the key. Details of the case.
Hold it!
Alright, let's start with that. How powerful were the explosions? Well, the one in the main building wasn't strong enough to bring the place down. But the room was off, burned black. Thankfully nobody was hurt. Let's part, of course, to be stepping in and leading the evacuation. Wait, what were you doing there in the first place, Detective Fulbright? I'm Bobby Fulbright, hero of justice. I'll be there wherever, whenever people need my help. I'll go to the other side of the world, even the other side of the universe. I'm not sure he knows just how far that is, actually. But I guess leave that one alone. Admirable decision, Justice Stono. What do you decide? Anyway, can you describe what it was like at the Space Center at that time? The bomb cut the power to the central bank of elevators in the 3rd floor lounge. There's much black in there, I tell you. Over the security cameras and whatnot running on emergency backup. How'd the evacuation go? Immediately and heroically whisked people down to the Space Center's basement shelter. The basement shelter? Yes, there's an emergency shelter beneath the Space Center. Emergency shelter, huh? Oh, here it is. It's at the bottom of the diagram. The Space Center is pretty impressive to have its own shelter. Right. Okay, good. Power outage and evacuation seem unrelated to the murder at this point. Guess I'll leave that aside for now. So 2 explosions in total, correct? Yep, that's right.
Hold it!
Let me get this straight. Mr. Beck rigged a rocket he was going to board with explosives. What are you talking about? The defendant really did plant the bomb in his own rocket. You get caught in the explosion as well. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Fine. Simpleton for a simpleton. Fulbright, the motive. Understood. The defendant actually had astrophobia. Astrophobia? What's that? A fear of space, naturally. Just the thought of space can cause the afflicted to freeze up. And so in his terror, the defendant found a way to stop the launch at the last minute. That's absurd. Unfortunately for you, we have evidence. Take a look at these. What are they? These are anti-anxiety tablets found among the defendant's possessions. Apparently, it was taken in secret to quell his fears. There are a multitude of problems with the rocket Mr. Starbuck rode 7 years ago. Rumor has it he threatened to crash a number of times as well. It was, of course, very traumatic for Mr. Starbuck.
Objection!
But that doesn't mean he'd go so far to blow up his own ship.
Silence!
The defendant couldn't bear Mara's good name, now could he? None of the media had branded him Soul Starbuck, space pioneer extraordinaire. Given these conditions, the defendant could have hardly run away like some base mutt. What, so that's why you think he resorted to the bombing? Naturally, you contract this act of sabotage and attempt to blow up the Space Center, which would effectively abort the launch, but spare his reputation. I'm sure you understand why you have to bring justice down on this atrocious criminal.
Hold it!
Okay. You're sure it's only the two of them? Just before the spaceship was set to launch, so of course it was only those two. Well, there could have been somebody else inside that rocket.
Silence!
No sort of a third-party launch pad one is utterly absurd. Sooner they hurry from the lounge. One has passed through a door guarded by a fingerprint recognition device. Let me just state up front that there are precious few within clearance to do so. A fingerprint recognition device does this feature as complex as the Space Center. Actually, it's not as amazing as you think, Your Honor. Take a look at this photo. There's a door in front of the lounge with a fingerprint lock. My personal fingerprints are registered can pass through. I see. This is very different from what I had in mind. There's a record of the number of people that passed through the door yesterday. Yes, there are only 3. The defendant, the victim, and the director of the Space Center, Yuri Cosmos. Doesn't mean it's possible the director is the one who did it. Not a chance. He was in the main building when the bombs exploded at 9:28. Doing his job directing the launch. Besides, having an alibi, he has no motive for committing these senseless acts. He has a point. I guess the director can't be considered a suspect then. Made it back to the boarding lounge. So, what would appear that the pair barely escaped with their lives, in actuality, one of them had already been murdered inside the rocket. That's the angle the prosecution wants to push, correct? You got it. In fact, that's what I've been trying to say this whole time. If the victim had been alive, it would have hurt her to stop the bombing. No chance Mr. Tren could have been killed before he boarded the rocket. They're both alive and well at the boarding time and embarked on their own power. Their hearts full of hope and dreamed of space. And both of their hopes and dreams were dashed. They continued an expedition. The evacuation order was given. The defendant made his escape, carrying the victim to make it look like a rescue.
Hold it!
Stabbed to death. Who was the first to find the victim? Actually, there were 2 of them. Producer and director Yuri Cosmos and Detective Candice Arme. One of them was a detective. Yep, Detective Arme specialized in bombings, you see. She and the director were ordering the evacuation following the explosions. They're also worried about the astronauts, so they hurried over to the boarding lounge. That's when they discovered the victim along with the defendant. 2 witnesses, huh? One of them is a detective. Not either one would have anything to say that would help me. I think that pretty much covers the details of the case. Alright. Now we have the details underway. We'll come back next time.